live and direct at the NBC Universal Press Day. We're going to be checking out all your favorite content. Make sure you keep it tuned right here for more.
Raymond, Quantum Leap. I've been watching it. I'm caught up.
Right on.
And I'm looking at you on the screen. I'm like, this guy is just too, just charismatic, and everything he says, I'm down to just follow him, and just a tender character. So I don't know if that's like the role that you're trying to portray, or is this just you genuinely? That's me.
I don't know. I feel like that's the character. I feel like in order for me to do the character justice, I have to see through his eyes. And he is a person with deep empathetic values. He is a person of great moral fiber. And he is somebody who is willing to put his life on the line for others. Would I be readily putting myself on the line for others as quickly as Dr. Bensong might? Probably not. So he's actually a much better person than I am. Yeah. So it's a great thing to look towards and a great person to try to emulate too. So, you know, a lot of what's on the page informs me. A lot of what conversations that I have with the producers informs me. And, you know, every time I get to crack open a new script, I'm excited at the prospect of what new shades of Ben do we get to see. So I'm growing and learning as I go with the character.
You also kind of have like a cheat sheet too with Addison, where she's right behind you, sure, telling you what's happening, all the information. So maybe if you have your Addison right now telling you like, hey, something bad's happening, you gotta save this person right here on this red carpet.
Yeah, even then, I'd be like, but what are my chances of dying? You know, It's never great. The percentages are always like, you have a 3% chance of survival, and yet he still jumps into it. Yeah. So, yeah, perhaps if I had a hologram telling me all the right things to do and say, I might have a different answer, but I still think I would value my life a little more.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of like you too, because today, arriving here, there was like a car accident. And I'm like, I just got to pass this to head here. But I feel sorry for the guy.
Of course. I mean, and you know what? Like, that's not to say that, like, I feel like, you know, in mentioning that he's making me a better person, I will say my first instincts have evolved a little bit. I see something happening, and I realize I'm now acting on it in a way that I normally wouldn't have before. So, yeah.
So each episode, new characters, so you get to pretty much embody them, learn like their occupation, the different tics like families, new people, very fast paced compared to like, let's say, other projects you've done, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think our show does really well when our pace is at a breakneck speed. We tout the show as it being a high octane show with a lot of heart, and you know, a lot of the exciting moments of the show is when we get to see our characters reacting in a way that is almost supernatural, where our instincts are so alive, and it's almost like an episode of like 24 even, where we have to get this all done before so-and-so happens, and this will allow for you to leap. And so there's a time crunch. Yes, we have to fit the show within 44 minutes, and we have to get everything solved, but there's also this need that is either, you know, outside of us, that universally that we have, that there's a clock that we're competing against to get everything done. So we have to imbue every scene with that, with a sense of urgency, and I think that's where our show does really well.
And you mentioned before about like just doing the different characters. Yeah, you're on the go. You're just gotta read it and do it. So is there a character that you liked performing? Like, yeah, this is it. This is why I'm here.
Kind of all of them, man. I mean, there's an episode that's coming up called Leap, Die, Repeat, where it is inspired by Kurosawa's Rashomon, where we get to see this particular occurrence from 5 different characters' point of view, and takes place in 1962 at a nuclear reactor site, and there's an explosion that goes off, and Ben has to figure out which of these 5 characters that we find in an elevator at the top of the show is responsible for this explosion going off, and with every death is a new respawn into a different character. And so in reading that, I am able to see like, oh wow, this is basically an encapsulation of the entire series in one episode in a lot of ways, and yeah, that's one that I'm really looking forward for audiences to see.
And you know what I got excited about recently when I saw you? Top Gun. Maverick, because I was like, he's in this? So, and then I rewatched it. I was like, there he is. Yeah, you're the bully. It's like,
yeah, it's a blink and you miss me role, but it is. I like to think that it's an integral piece to the film because it allows for Rooster to become, to overcome that situation. Because we're, Yale and Harvard, we're trying to get him to meet his quota. We're trying to get him up there. We're all trying to succeed to make it on this mission, but he has to overcome that, right? And we're the first leg of that. And it was a thrill to work on. I was surrounded by excellent, top quality people day in and day out. To get to see the best of the best work is an experience that I would have gladly paid for, but being invited onto the set, being invited onto the cast, and seeing the reception that it's getting is just it's all gravy, because I would have just done it for the experience alone.
that could be like another episode of Quantum Leap where you transfer into a body of a person that's just a jackass.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to overcome that, right? And like to have that energy come towards my character, being like, am I an asshole? I'm an asshole. Also, I've leapt into an asshole. I just have to, my goal is to make him a better person by the end of the episode.
Oh, there you go. That's how you do it. Yeah. Well, all right. Thanks, Raymond.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And can't wait for the next episode.
Thank you. Yeah, tune in. Keep watching.
Take care.
It's Eli Johnson with the nerdsofcolor.org, and I'm here with the great Jocko Simmons from New Amsterdam, of course.
I'm here with the great Eli.
Absolutely. So first of all, season finale coming up.
Yeah.
We promised this a bit of a tearjerker.
Yeah.
So talk about how your character, Floyd Reynolds, has kind of evolved over the series, and what can fans sort of expect as things kind of wrap up this time around?
Yeah, well, the series finale, first of all, I can't believe that we're here at this point. I can't believe that it's been 5 seasons. It's a blur. And, first of all, being able to play Dr. Reynolds, I never imagined that I'd be playing a heart surgeon on NBC. I never imagined being an actor, first of all, growing up in San Antonio, Texas. But to play someone that has been so impactful for everyone, and especially our community, the black community, the African-American community. I've had people hit me up on Twitter and say, my son now wants to become a doctor because he watched you. And that's something that I wasn't expecting. And that's the thing that I would miss the most, is just the impact and the important subjects that we talked about on this show. But it'll live on forever on Peacock.
Great segue right into there. So speaking of on Peacock, what do you think it is about this show that has resonated with people? 5 seasons is no joke. A lot of shows don't make it past the pilot. Yeah. 5 seasons is a big deal. So what do you think really resonates with people about New Amsterdam?
Well, I think that they discovered that these doctors are human, and I think most importantly, it's the fact that they care. Like, they care a lot. And they started out in the first episode. Max comes in and he says, "How can I help?" And he fired the whole cardiac surgical department to prove a point. He's like, "We will not put billing ahead of patient care." And he made sure that everybody lived by that the entire time. So as you're watching as a fan, we all will experience having to go to a hospital, be it for a loved one or for yourself at some point in our lives. We have to deal with doctors, and we all dream of having somebody there by your bedside who cares about you as much as you do, who cares about you as much as your mother, your grandfather, and whoever it may be. And that's the message that we tried to portray and put out, and I think that's what's appealing to people, just imagining being in that position and being cared for, truly.
Absolutely. Kind of a lightning round question. We're going to have a little fun with this one. Greatest heart surgeon or a surgeon doctor on television versus Floyd Reynolds. Who is the best surgeon?
Oh, man. You know what? I have to be honest. I don't watch enough of other medical shows. I think,
classic ER?
I will say, and I won't even go classic. I'm going to go current. Shout out to my man, Malcolm Jamal Warner, who I think is also a heart surgeon on The Resident. I'm not saying they copied us, but I was on The Resident before he was, and then I was a heart surgeon on The Resident, and then he was. No, but shout out to him, because he does a fantastic job too, and I hope I get to work with him one day.
Absolutely. And speaking, kind of touching on what you said a little bit earlier about representation, now that you're kind of in this position, not to put it on how there's that stigma where black people are kind of I feel like they have to represent the entire community when we're on TV, but How do you feel like, using your platforms more in the future to kind of like elevate black people in these kinds of spaces? Like, do you have anything on the horizon that you're excited about as far as representation?
Absolutely. What I want to do more of is writing, producing, directing, creating overall. And I did create a short film called Grown, and we just got picked up by South by Southwest. We're going to premiere there as an independent TV pilot in March, and I'm really excited about that. But I had the opportunity there to write the stories first of all, it's based on a true story, and I got to hire young black and brown actors, and it was just such a fantastic experience for me. Prior to that, I had been coaching actors for like 20 years, so I got to really hone that opportunity by directing and directing these young actors. So it's really great, and we'll see what happens with that from here.
Absolutely. And, it's always great and it's always important to be able to give back when you're in these positions, because I always feel like you never know why you're blessed to be put in that position, right? So to see actors like yourself, we had Terry Crews in here a little earlier, just to see actors like you guys kind of paying it forward, I think that's a really big deal. So obviously, congratulations on the season finale and everything for the Amsterdam, my friend.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, you keep doing your thing.
Yes, sir. Oregon, I'm here with
Justin Cunningham
and Carl TART
of the great Grand Crew, which is currently renewed for season 2. First of all, congratulations to you guys on that so much. It's hard to get to a season 2 these days. You pulled it off with flying colors. So before we get into the new stuff, we got to talk about some of the old stuff. What were some of your favorite moments from the first season?
Definitely the crying bit. I think that was my first day of shooting. I think of the season, and I had to get like full basically naked. Yeah. My first day, I saw the script and I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing today.
Everything's easier after that.
Yeah, I was like, I might as well just go ahead and go for it. And then Carl was in the scene with me, and I felt very terrible for him because he just had to sit there and watch me.
It was so funny. We did it so many times, and he kept just coming up with other words like, "Don't look at me, don't look at me, look at me." Look at me.
Yeah, that was memorable for me.
Getting sprayed with wine, like that was real. I was cold and wet. We did that a bunch of times again. That's one of our directors, one of the executive producers on the show. Shout out Courtney Carrillo. He is the king of a lot of takes. And that day, I'm getting sprayed with this wine, and I'm just like cold and like splashing in it, and he's just like, let's do it again. I'm like, we got to do this again. But it was still fun, and luckily they had a shower on the lot, so I was able to clean up.
Absolutely. So season 2 comes with a little bit of responsibility because, a lot of people resonate with this show. So we got to kind of get into that. What do you feel like makes people resonate with Grand Crew?
I think it's a focus on friendships, and even though it's like an all-black cast, and I've said this before, even though it's an all-black cast, it's not necessarily focused on our blackness. It's focused on people of color being people, and that encompasses a whole different genre of things. Like we can be interested in different things that don't have to follow like a black narrative sort of storyline. And I think that's what people sort of gravitate towards, that they're able to see people of color be people. And they're able to be, or I'm personally able to be goofy, I'm able to be a nerd, I'm able to be so many things that are myself. Because normally as an actor, I'm usually having to perform through that lens of being a person of color. And this show, although I am that, I am more than that.
What was the question?
The question was just, why do you think people resonate with the Grand Crew so far?
Oh, I mean, I could literally go from real feedback I received. They just like, I've never really seen myself like portrayed on TV. Like this, a lot of people feel like they are our actual friends. Like a lot of people feel like, oh man, this is just like my friend group. I feel like I'm hanging out with them. I'm sure people like get their wine and sit down and watch us, and it's like a good time. It's just, I think people just like to have a good time, and I think that's what people resonate with the most. Is it looks like we're always having a good time. Even when we are sad or going through something on the screen, it feels like we're having a good time with it, and we can lean on each other, and everybody loves friendship, so I think that's what resonates the most, is just the friendship.
Absolutely. So you guys, obviously bring a lot of personality into the characters and on screen. In what ways do you feel like your character has influenced you as a person, or what kind of how much do you put yourself into the character as well to kind of mold those storylines?
I think that Wyatt leads with a lot of optimism about things in his life, and I think that I've learned a great deal about optimism in my own life regarding that. It got really quiet in here for a second. I was hearing myself echo, but yeah, that's what I feel like has been resonating with me. It's like this optimism and curiosity about things, and looking at things differently, or looking at things with a softer. How do you say? I'll just say it out there. A softer glow on things. If that makes any sense, and it doesn't, but it's fine.
I think my character Sherm has helped me take more risks because he's like a real confident dude, and like I have in the past struggled with like confidence and stuff like that, and just like putting myself out there. And Sherm kind of attacks everything head on, and he's always willing to be like, yeah, I'm down. If I'm gonna do it. Y'all got my back, right? Because I got y'all's. Like, and that's helped me. Like, be like, I can do this, and it's not gonna blow up in my face. Like trusting in my own intelligence to not make a mistake or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. So without giving too much away, because I know we're right on the brink of the next season, Sherm always gets into a lot of different things. Same with your character. So what can we fans kind of expect from the new season? Without giving too many spoilers away, just kind of give us a little bit of a tease.
Without giving too much away, Sherm will be murdered this season.
Wow, plot twist. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. Sherm has been a ghost the whole time.
This has all been Wyatt's dream.
Yeah. This has all been a dream in the head of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think this year just expect more hijinks. Expect the same relationships that people have grown to like and love, and just get ready for another great season of TV.
Absolutely. And quick lightning round question for you both, and I just finished asking Echo. What crossover series would you guys like to see? Like if you guys had the option or the opportunity to do it, what sitcom would you kind of like to see mashed up and merged with the Grand Crew?
Oh man, I kind of want to say Bel Air.
Bel Air, yeah.
but Bel Air's it's like a drama now. But.
Does it have to be something that's on right now?
Hey, any old or new, older current?
It would be dope to merge this cast. I think with Living Single, like that'd be.
That's a classic. That's a classic.
Oh, Martin,
yeah. I'd love to be in the Martin universe, in the Martin verse.
Yeah, in the Martin verse. I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for another great season of the Grand Crew, and we wish you guys all the success. Hey, it's Eli Johnson with thenerdofcolor.org, and I am here with
Gracie Mercedes.
Aaron Jennings.
From the Grand Crew. Season 2 is on the way. You guys got renewed. First of all, congratulations so much. We got to talk about some of the old stuff before we get into the new stuff. So what was one of your favorite moments from the previous season?
Last season? I really love, actually, the episode with Aaron and I where we go hiking and we get mad at each other and we get lost. That was a really fun episode to shoot. And Matthew Cherry was our director, and he was incredible. So that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I would actually echo that same sentiment, but I will add another one. I think it's episode 3. Or is it, 3, when we're all in Wyatt's house, and the soap and Jerry Pipe or Pipe and Jerry or whatever his name was, Jerry Pipe. That was a real fun episode to shoot because it was the first time I feel like we were all together.
It was, and we got to
in
dance.
A scene, and we got to dance and suds, and it was just a whole lot of fun. Yeah.
So with those kinds of experiences built in, it's no wonder audiences fell in love with the show. But what do you guys feel like really resonates with people, just like on an episodic level as a series? What do you think really resonates with the audience?
Well, I just think that obviously there's a lot of humor, and it's hilarious. And so I think people want to laugh and need to laugh in this world that we're in right now, especially coming out of the pandemic. Not that we're fully out of it, but you know what I mean, when we was very much the pandemic. And so I think it adds that element to just the world. And then also it's a very human story that anyone can connect with. Or there are characters that anyone can connect with. You might see yourself in Faye, or you might see yourself in Nicole. You might see parts of yourself in both Faye and Nicole. And I think that's just the awesome thing about it, is there's something for everyone.
Yeah, wow. I mean, he kind of said it all, but I would yeah, Aaron.
Okay, say something for me.
But I will also say, I don't know, I just think it's a fun show and a funny show, and I think right now, like Aaron was saying, we do need to laugh, and it's nice to see a show with an all-black cast that's not about drama or trauma or crappy thing. I don't want to curse. Crappy things, but that's about like uplifting things and friendship and love and figuring out what you're doing with your life in your 30s. Yeah.
Absolutely. So touching on some of those very relatable topics, the show kind of dives into things like mental health, about things like that, like real world topics, and you guys deal with it in a very mature way, but still with a little bit of humor. So what's some topics that you guys are looking forward to getting into in the next season?
Well, for my character, Faye, we find out in the first season that she's recently divorced. And so in the second season, it's like, okay, now what? And what's dating like? And how do you find purpose after marriage? And what do you do next after marriage? And what do you do? So I think it's just like that almost like early, I guess not early. I guess that is a midlife crisis in your 30s, right? Who knows how old we're going to live to. But let's just say midlife crisis and what that's like. And I think this season kind of tackles that for Faye. Yeah, she's really kind of figuring out her place in the world, her place in the group, her place in her love life. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And your character is always getting into something as well. So what can we fans expect kind of on the table?
Well, I think this season in a lot of ways is about growth. And we get to see the growth in Anthony. Obviously, when we met him in the first season, his job was his love. And I think we're going to see that get challenged a little bit, which is good because hopefully it'll lead to a better work-life balance, and there might be some women on the horizon for him to sort of. I don't know. No, not.
I was about to say.
No.
Not a spoiler. Spoilers.
Not a spoiler at all. No, not at all. No, I just mean she is a woman, so I just happen to look to her now. Yeah. But that Anthony gets involved with, and ultimately they help him, I think, evolve to a greater space.
And I'm here with
Echo KELLUM.
And Oprah Winfrey. No, Nicole BYER.
I was actually going to let that slide too, like it's Oprah. Well, we were talking about the Grand Crew Season 2, just renewed for another one. First of all, congratulations, you guys. So we got to get into it, talking about what you loved from the previous season. What are some of your favorite moments?
Some of my favorite moments from season 1, we had scenes where we were drinking and filming it. Obviously, we're not drinking real alcohol, but the placebo effect happened, and I was drinking water, but I was like, I feel shit-faced. And we got into this like loop. He said his line, I said my line, he said his line, then I said my other line, and Echo was like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm drunk. And that was very fun for me.
And I was actually drunk because I sneak my alcohol like a sane person on set. No, I was kidding.
We are grown. We are grown.
I'm just kidding. But there were so many funny parts. I mean, honestly, for me, what makes the show something I love is seeing more so the tertiary characters that come on. And like there was this one character when Aaron had the vegan storyline, and the dad's like, let me see that bag. Let me smell it. And he's like, "What? Can you drink water? Because fish swimming. I guess you get that stuff." That type of stuff is what makes my heart sing.
Yeah. What do you say? You V-grow?
Yeah, you V-grow.
You V-grow. And that made me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Also, all of episode 2, meeting Gracie's character, Faye, where it's like a meet cute, but not the expected meet cute. Season 1 is just filled with so many moments, and season 2 is filled with so many more.
We got to shoot the Americana. Like, part of the thing I love is that we get to shoot in our neighborhoods, which is like so rare.
Yeah.
And it just feels so special and cool. And I feel like the little kid in me would be like, whoa, this is nuts.
And it humbles you real quick. Because we were shooting at the Americana, and people were like, who are they? And we were like, we're on network television, thank you.
And you're like, no, thank you, we're good. I'm gonna go get my everyday people clothing. Get out of here. Yeah, where's The Rock? Where's Dwayne Johnson?
Where is he?
We heard he's going to be here. This is the Universal, right? No, but it's really a blessing. We feel really lucky.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So speaking on those kinds of experiences and moments, which you guys create for the viewers a lot as well, but what do you think resonates for the viewers that you guys are kind of being able to go into season 2? Why does the Grand Crew resonate with so many people?
I think a big part of it is like black joy, like just seeing us, like these characters kind of thriving, and obviously they're dealing with stuff in real life, but they're just really about having fun, going moment to moment, exploring relationships, business, work, friendships, personal aspects, and it's all done from a place of love, laughter, fun. And I think that's something that's sometimes been lacking in our media sometimes, is just getting to see people of color just enjoy life, and I love that we get to do that on the show.
But also accessible for whites as well.
So
I love that interjection. That interjection. That's like
so accessible.
That's like the fine print. That's like the disclaimer right there.
I think it's like, I don't know. I have a podcast with my best friend, Sashir. It's called Best Friends, and people are always like, how do I make more friends? So I think when people watch the show, they feel like they're with friends, the way like people listen to podcasts and feel like they're with a friend. Like I feel like we're so easy breezy and like fun to be with.
Yeah.
So I just the show's so special to me.
And it's like it's universal, the aspects and things that
that's
we're
what I was
like
gonna say.
delving into. It's just we just happen to be people of color going through those things. So yeah.
Absolutely. So obviously, I can't ask you about too many season 2 spoilers, but if you could kind of give fans a little bit of a tease on what we can expect from you guys as individual storylines going into it.
Yeah, I'm getting married to 7 women. What
As one does. As one does.
Like
Polygamy.
a lot of sister wives.
Yeah, short hair Noah. I cut my hair off. What else? No, I mean, there's some really, I mean, obviously we left some pretty big threads at the end of season 1, so we definitely tie into that kind of stuff. And you really just get to see the crew go on more hijinks, have fun, wine, you know what I'm saying? Just like, get it in.
And we got a music budget. We got some songs in there that cost a lot of money. And I said, oh, that's why I didn't get a raise. No, I'm kidding.
That's season 2 money. That's that season 2 money.
Really fun music up in there. There's one scene with Aaron where I don't want to give it away. There's this song. It's an Evanescence
Super
song.
pop. Yeah.
And it's so funny. Then there's an Usher song that is so fun.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
it's just, season 2 is like just bigger and better and like so much fun.
Phil was talking about season 2. He described it in one word, and I think we definitely have hit that in some ways. Weinfeld. In that sense of just like we're having wine, but we're still getting into that situational, funny space. And I think we've really delved deep into that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Congratulations once again.
Appreciate
Season
it.
2 is a big deal. Oh, hands. I keep forgetting.
don't shake hands.
I keep forgetting. Like, it's a bad habit. It's a bad habit.
I start washing my hands so much I get crazy.
Too much.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Well, thank you so
so
much.
much.
No, trust me. It's me. It's a habit I need to break, shaking hands.
You gotta stop shaking hands.
Clearly.
man.
I know.
Thank you so much.
All right, this is Eli Johnson with the nerdsofcolor.org, and I'm here with the great Terry Crews himself.
Probably the #1 nerd of color.
Well, then you're in the right
You
place.
can be a bigger nerd of color than me. You know what I mean? I think I've conquered the nerd of color.
Absolutely.
I love the name. I love that.
Absolutely. Well, you're in the right place. So we got to jump into all the good stuff. America's Got Talent, you know, still ongoing, still going strong. You've been a huge part of that success of the show. What are some of the highlights, do you think, for you? Or so, like, when I say what's the best act from America's Got Talent, what comes to mind immediately?
First of all, I mean, it's so wild because I've been changed by watching such great talent that's been here. I remember, you know, a young lady by the name of Nightbird who came on the show and really showed us what being human is all about. And she eventually passed, but she left such an indelible impression upon each and every person that saw her, that was around her. And it just let me know how to live my life. You know what I mean? It almost woke me up to the fact that, you know what, enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. There's nothing. Listen, as bad as things are, or whatever you're going through, it's still good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that you lose perspective. And AGT helps me keep perspective on life because you watch these guys come in here and risk everything to go with this dream. And I always am remembering and always thankful for the stuff that I have, and it's my job to help them get theirs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so kind of touching on that, I know that you are also a very inspirational speaker in a lot of ways, motivational speaker, however you'd like to phrase it. And I know that you have released a new book recently, or are in the process of it, Terry's Crew.
Yes.
So would you kind of like to talk a little bit about what that is and how that kind of came about?
Well, I had the privilege and honor of releasing 2 books this year. My first one came out in April called Tough, which was all about, you know, how I discovered that toughness was not about, you know, throwing punches. It was about the ability to take punches, which is a whole nother level.
That's heavy.
Terry's Crew was my story to young people, and it was all about my 12-year-old self and my quest to be a multi-hyphenate, because there were times when people told you could only have one dream.
Right.
You know, it's like, well, that's it. And if you mess that up, you messed it all up. But no, actually, I had 7 dreams, 8 dreams. I still have more dreams. I have so many things that I haven't done yet. And one thing that blows me away is that as I keep going for them, I keep knocking them down one by one. you know, and I want to tell other kids that you could do that too. But you have to have the right people in your life. And you got to have the right crew.
Right.
And what the whole book is about, the people that were around me that helped me because you can't do it alone, but I was very, very meticulous about who I had around me. There were people that I knew that weren't going to help me get those goals, and I had to be ruthless about getting them out of my life.
Absolutely.
But the people that were going to help me, boom. I had to get the fellow nerds of color that was going to help me get all my goals.
I love the shout out.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, once you got them, dude, you're unstoppable. You are truly unstoppable with that kind of support.
Yeah, that reminds me of the saying, if you want to get there fast, go alone. If you want to get there, I think you can help me.
No, I heard that. You want to get there fast, but go alone. But if you want to get there successfully.
Yes, go together.
That's
yes.
it. That's
yeah,
it.
somewhere in that wheel park. So
I hear you.
Once, all said and done, you've been a great advocate, almost like a philanthropist, a humanitarian on so many ways. And like you said with your book, you're trying to inspire the next generation. What do you feel like is the legacy of Terry Crews?
For me, my legacy, I want to be transparency and vulnerability. Because you can really, by being vulnerable, it really opened up my life in so many ways. It kind of, because this is the thing, it's a shame-based life. People want to shame you on this and shame you on that. But by being vulnerable, you conquer shame.
Right.
And it allows you to do everything you want to do because you're like, hey, I'm not hiding. I'm not running. This is me. This is where authenticity comes from. And my whole thing is I want to be known for that. I want to, whatever you say about me, you can say I was authentic. I was vulnerable. You know more about me than I ever know about you. But that's okay with me. You know what I mean? Because I really want to let people know it's okay to share, to open up. And I get the help I need all the time because I'm not afraid to ask for it.
Amazing. So lastly, in closing, America's Got Talent on the table. Terry Crews on the table. What is next for Terry Crews? What projects do you have on the horizon?
Oh, we have some really, really wonderful acting projects on the horizon. I can't say just yet because it's all in the works. But man, first of all, I'm not giving up acting. I'm still doing that. I love my art. By the way, I've been really showing a lot of my art on Instagram. I plan on really having a show very soon and putting my art out there. Again, I'm building Legos on TikTok. I'm the nerd, brother. I'm trying to tell you. Because
there's no limit.
There's no limit. And behind the scenes, man, creating, directing, writing. I'm still doing it, but I'm waiting for it to get on a bigger level, but I don't mind just waiting. You know what I mean? I'm not going nowhere. And I'm just going to keep working it every day. So it's wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Terry. Always excited to see what you got going on, man. You are a huge inspiration, a huge motivation to myself and so many other people out there. So we're just happy and proud to have you have some of your time today at the NBC Universal event.
Oh, man, I got you, brother. I got you. Fellow nerds of color, unite.
All right. You see us.
Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.